Hey everybody! Recently we got a brand new preview of one of the upcoming secondary weapons in Deep Rock Galactic. That weapon was the Nishanka Bolt Shark, aka a new crossbow for the Scout. Now I know I'm a little late to this, but I heard all of your comments. Hundreds of thousands of people begging, crying, screaming, please Shadowhaxer99, talk about this new weapon. But don't worry, I heard all your desperate pleading cries, and I realize I can't abandon my role as the arbiter of all opinions about Deep Rock Galactic. Without me here, you people won't know what to think about this weapon, so I have to come now and save you all and give you the true, correct opinion about this weapon. Alright, enough joking around, let's get serious. Instead of giving my opinions on the crossbow, like I did with the new primaries back when they were added, I wanted to talk about how this fits into the Scout's current loadout. More specifically, I wanted to address what I've seen some people saying about the new weapon in the community. There are some people out there that say this weapon doesn't fit with Scout's playstyle. Now, I'll admit I don't know how large this group of people is. It could be a vocal minority, or it could be a very large group of people. The point of this video isn't really to debunk anybody though, it's more to discuss this weapon and see how it can fit into the Scout playstyle. I wanted to use some of these points I've seen as a way to kickstart that conversation. Now before we get talking about this, I just want to remind you all that if you press subscribe, you will be invited to my birthday party, so make sure you do that. And while you're down there, why don't you leave a like, or better yet, leave a comment? Getting comments from people is my favorite part of making these videos by far, so go on down there and say something, anything. Even if you disagree with me, I want to go and have that conversation with you. Now that we got all that boring junk out of the way, let's dive right into talking about something interesting. Crossbows. The main critiques I see of this new weapon are split into two categories, visual and mechanical. Let's start by talking about the visual critiques. Now, personally, I think this is probably the most irrelevant critique. A lot of people say that a crossbow doesn't fit into the style of the game. It's not sci-fi enough. This argument was a lot more common back before we knew what the weapon looked like, but now that we've actually seen it, it's pretty much irrelevant. I can understand how people might want cool new laser guns, but I think that what matters most is how the weapon is implemented and how it works mechanically. Speaking of which, let's talk about the mechanics. I've seen some people say that it doesn't really fit with Scout's playstyle, and I actually think they have a little bit of merit. I think the best way to illustrate this is to look at some of Scout's current weapons, like the shotgun and the M1000. I think that those two weapons actually conflict a little in their playstyles. Now, to the hundreds of angry Scout mains who are currently furiously typing a comment about how I just don't know how to build them properly, I know that you can make a build that lets these two weapons work together. My point is that they both typically are good at single target damage. The Scout's main role in combat is to take out high priority targets, but when you completely sacrifice being able to deal with swarms, you're kind of lopsided. Now, like I said, I know you can build these weapons to work together, but because they both have lower clip sizes and typically lower fire rates, it's really hard to use the both of them at the same time. This is my biggest concern for the crossbow, that it won't be evenly suited to all the different primaries. Now, I'm only going to say it one more time. I know that you can do builds to overcome this, but most of the other classes don't have this struggle. With the other classes, I don't find myself having to do much work to match a secondary with a primary. Maybe it's my fault, and I just don't have enough experience with Scout yet. I'll admit that my Scout builds could use a bit more variety. Regardless, I hope that you can see where my concern's coming from, even if it's misinformed. And no matter what happens, I'm really excited to get my hands on this crossbow. Long ago, when it was first shown off, it was by far my favorite weapon of all the prototypes we saw. So if you still don't like it, I hate you and I never want to speak to you ever again. Get off my channel and never even think about me. But seriously, at least wait until we can see what the builds for it are. And that's all for this video. I'm already behind schedule because the next weapon's been shown off, so look forward to me talking about that next. I'm going to put my pedal to the metal and try and talk about each of these new weapons as they come out. If you want to catch me talking about these new weapons, go right on down there and press subscribe. I'll catch you next time. See you later.